Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes because I just started the broadcast, so it takes a minute or so for people to be signed in. So welcome, everyone. It'll just be a minute, so please hang in there with me. We'll get started very shortly. And the numbers are rolling up, which is excellent. We have an awesome turnout today for this very exciting happy hour on Prince Edward Island. I'm super excited about this one. And most of you know why, because we're going to talk a bit about seafood and some other yummy things. So we'll give it another minute and then we'll get going. And in case you didn't notice, if you've actually signed into some of my previous webinars, I have a new background. Usually I'm in my kitchen, but today I am in my new office in my home that my husband surprised me with while I was away last week on vacation. He painted and redid my whole office, so I now have my own little place to be, which is really exciting because I avoided this room like the plague because it was terrible before. Okay, so we've got lots and lots of people signed in. I think we are going to get going right now. Once again, welcome and thank you for being here. To many of you who just continually keep joining these happy hours, I can't tell you how excited I am each time I look through the list and I see all the familiar names. It means the world to us, not only that you're joining these happy hours, but that you are committed to learn about your own country, Canada, the most beautiful place in the world. And I'm just so blessed to be here with you today to talk to you about Prince Edward Island. And we have a very special guest today, and we're going to do, let me just cover some housekeeping stuff right off the hop. You got to pay attention, okay? Because there's some questions at the end of this session, and this is like the best prize ever. We've had some awesome prizes, but for me, this is the best prize ever. You could win a lobster dinner for two couriered right to your home. What could be better than that? So pay attention, answer the questions at the end. We'll leave them up and then we'll send them out to you as well. Great opportunity for that. Also, don't forget that we have the chat. So make sure you go to the chat. I'm going to look at it right now. Oh, Philip already asked me about where's my painting on the wall. So yes, a little bit of a different look today. So we've got the chat, we've got the questions you're going to watch for. Let's talk a little bit about selling Canada. You know what, I'm super excited to share with you guys that we are getting busy at Anderson Vacations, which is so hopeful. It's so heartening. And we're getting quite a few bookings. We actually had some agents in our office who met their targets for July, which is really exciting, which means that that travel agents are getting bookings too, because those bookings are coming from agents. So all I need you to do is embrace the fact that you can sell Canada. And your number one job is to let your clients know that you can sell Canada. Don't let them book somewhere else. Don't let them book online. Let them know that you are the expert in selling Canada. And all of these happy hours that you've been joining, hopefully it inspired you and made you feel more confident to sell our own backyard. And you know that we have incredible product. FIT and self-drives are selling really well right now. Some RV rentals, things like that. No, we're not doing our small group tours just yet, but there's going to be some winter product, perhaps a little bit of fall product coming. So that's exciting too. Everything is safe. We're very aware of social distancing and things like that, so you can be really confident selling to your clients. So let's get started. Okay, let's jump to the next slide. Most of you know who I am. My name is Darcie Guarderas. I'm the Director of Business Development for Anderson Vacations. I'm so blessed because I was a travel agent in my previous life for 25 years. Now I've been with Anderson for over 7, and I have traveled Canada coast to coast to coast, because we do have 3 coasts, and I'm very passionate about Canada, and most of you know that, and I love getting the comments after the webinars that you've enjoyed the experiences with us on these happy hours. And I'm just looking at the notes, Jenny's saying that we have the absolute best agents at Anderson, and that's so awesome to hear, because they are specialists and they're really dedicated to being there. You got to be a little patient with us right now because we're a bit short-staffed because of everything that's happening in the world, but we're bringing back someone on Monday, so we're going to have 3 FIT back as of Monday, and we have 2 in groups right now. So it's really exciting. What's the beverage of the week? Okay, so this one's super easy for me because I'm a rum girl. Morgan's white rum and Coke, which I have right here. Cheers to all of you. I'll have a sip just to get started. I do have a glass of water, but I was fooling them, telling them it was straight up Morgan's rum, which wouldn't be off the wall either. The reason it's Morgan's white rum is because back in the day, when the sailors used to go down to the Caribbean, leaving out of Prince Edward Island, they would take the salted cod down to the Caribbean, and they would exchange it for molasses or sugar or even rum and bring it back. So that was just kind of the drink of the sailors. And it's still one of those drinks that is holding on in Prince Edward Island, and it's yummy. Where is Prince Edward Island? Well, most of you know that I'm on the West Coast on Vancouver Island, so it's quite a distance from here. And you can see in the top smaller map where it's located. It is a great destination to include in any itineraries of Atlantic Canada, so going to Nova Scotia and the other, New Brunswick and so on, all the other provinces in a larger itinerary. But even though it's the smallest province in all of Canada, it has a huge heart, and there's so much going on in this province. A third of our potatoes, they come from this little place, a third of them. You know how I feel about seafood? Well, guess what? Prince Edward Island has 2 lobster seasons. The first going from mid-August to, mid-August to the end of October, mid-October, I believe it is. That's not the first one, that's the second one. And then there's one beginning of May till I think the end of June. Maybe when Grant comes on, he can give you those exact dates, but roughly around that time. There's lots of history in Prince Edward Island, and we've got this program put together today where Grant's gonna come on and talk to you for just a little bit and do a little introduction. And then it's a series of videos put together. Now, these videos were done specifically for Anderson Vacations. So in some cases, the sound quality, it's not perfect. These are not professional videos, but that's okay because they're super local and authentic, and you'll get a really great feel for Prince Edward Island. Now, of course, it is the birthplace of the Confederation. And one thing that I didn't really know about it is that it has over 90 beaches. So it's very well known for that. That's really important to know too. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything as far as housekeeping. Right now at this time, Atlantic Canada has their own travel bubble. You might be aware of that. So the rest of Canada, we can't quite get in there just yet, but it's time to dream. It's time to be inspired so that when the time comes, we're all ready to send our clients there and enjoy that experience in Prince Edward Island. I'm going to quickly look at the panel here before I have Grant come on. 1 second here. Excellent. We've got a few people with their beverages going, some amaretto here. And don't forget that afterwards, we're going to send the video out to you. So if you can't hear something, it's not that clear, we're going to send this all out to you as a recording afterward. So Grant, if you don't mind turning on your camera for me, that would be awesome.
I should be there.
There you are. Hello, Grant. Welcome.
Thanks, Darcie.
It's great to have you today. Grant is with Tourism Prince Edward Island. It is awesome. We are great partners, Anderson Vacations and Tourism Prince Edward Island. We work together to create some awesome itineraries. They are great support to us. And Grant would just like to say a few words as a welcome before we get started with our program.
Just as a follow-up to what Darcie just said, yes, between Prince Edward Island and the other Atlantic provinces, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Labrador, for the last, even before my time, I think, and that's been a long time, we've worked very closely with Anderson Vacations, and it's been very successful, I can say, for all 4 Atlantic provinces. Just what you're going to see over the next 20 minutes or so is all of this. Well, 95% of this we shot just last week. And as Darcie said, when we were shooting at the Prince Edward Island National Park, obviously there were some issues there in regards to background sound. Some of it was children, which we would expect. A little bit of it was construction, but there was a nice gentle breeze at times that kind of got caught up with the microphone too. So you may just have to listen a little harder for that. But just in regards to Prince Edward Island, whether it's a group tour or FIT, we can pretty well handle anything. PEI is made for touring. It's very easy to get around. It's short distances. You can spend a day in one area and spend another day in another area, or you can base yourself in one area and just travel out from a hub situation. So it's a very easy place to get around. I think also over the next 20 minutes, We focused a lot on the Prince Edward Island National Park, Confederation Center and Confederation, Charlottetown itself. But I just want to say also, there's a lot of other activities and attractions on Prince Edward Island that I can get to talk about towards the end of the program itself. So if I want to turn it back to Darcie and go from there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Grant. A quick reminder to everyone to pay attention. Make sure you make a few notes because, again, we have those questions at the end. We want you to get the lobster dinner sent to you. There's also like the best recipe ever at the end. I have not made it yet, but I'm going to make it this weekend. So I'll report back to you on this amazing recipe. So now we're going to have Pip take over the screen and she's going to start the video for us. And at the very end of the video, we'll come back on for questions. Grant will come on again and we'll have a little bit more information and answer any of those questions as well. So here we go.
My name is Cameron McDonald.
My name is Cacinda Bulger, and we're with the Confederation Center of the Arts.
Confederation Center of the Arts would like to acknowledge that the land on which we operate is the traditional territory of the PEI Mi'kmaq, the caretakers of this land for the past 12,000 years. We would like to acknowledge with respect the culture, spirituality, and history of the Mi'kmaq people.
A big thank you to Anderson Vacations for allowing us to partake in your happy hour.
Cheers.
The Confederation Center of the Arts opened to the public in 1964 as a living memorial to the Fathers of Confederation and the meetings on Confederation that took place here in Charlottetown. Our main stage space, the Hamburg Theater, houses just over 1,100 seats, and our smaller space, the MAC, houses just under 200 in its intimate cabaret-style seating. The Cultural Campus is located in the heart of downtown Charlottetown, a stone's throw away from historic Great George Street. To take advantage of our beautiful island summers, the Confederation Center offers a variety of outdoor programming, including the Confederation Brass, who you may be able to hear in the background, the TV Confederation Center and Gown Company, and us, the Confederation Players.
The Confederation Players offer historic walking tours of downtown Charlottetown and also do some dramatic reinterpretation of our history here.
The Charlottetown Festival is noted for its first-class productions, including Guinness Record holder Anne of Green Gables the musical. The festival has produced over 85 original Canadian musicals, including Evangeline, Bitter Girl the musical, and Stories from the Red Dirt Road.
In 1847, the beautiful Province House was completed, known at the time as the Colonial Building, built by renowned architect Isaac Smith. It is where our legislature has been housed, and of course, the famed conference in 1864, the Charlottetown Conference, where the Fathers of Confederation themselves met and discussed Confederation for the first time. In 1864, the Fathers of Confederation met here in Charlottetown to discuss the potential union of this new nation. All of the colonies of British North America, once separated, coming together in harmony to move forward as a new country. It is here in Prince Edward Island, and Charlottetown specifically, where those Fathers of Confederation met. First walking up historic Great George Street, taking in all the views and beautiful buildings that Charlottetown had to offer.
We stand here in the Confederation Center of the Arts chamber replica, a replica of the chamber over in Province House. Province House itself closed in 2014 for restoration efforts, which is what gave us this lovely space today, where you can explore the area or you can watch a 20-minute video on the story of Confederation.
For over 12,000 years, the inhabitants of this land, known as the Mi'kmaq, who called this island Epequet, have been living in harmony with the land, following food sources from place to place, never settling in one area in particular. In love with this island, they were sharing it with anyone who would come. The Europeans, the Acadians first and foremost, were welcomed by the Mi'kmaq, and it was the Mi'kmaq, in fact, who showed them how to survive off of this land. The Acadians would then start settling this island in 1720, growing a wonderful and distinct culture separate from those in France. They would call this land Acadie, and the island itself Ile Saint-Jean. Until, of course, the English arrive. Ooh. And they deported the Acadians. But not to fear, the Acadians persevered, hiding in the woods and coming back, in many cases, to this land, this island that they would call home. It is these two cultures that make up the overarching culture of this island, and we are thankful to have them still thriving on the island today.
To all those families craving a change of scenery, not to mention a change of fun and flavors, we have two words for you. Welcome back. Come find your island, Prince Edward Island.
Hello, bonjour. My name is Lauren Gauthier, and I would love to welcome you to Prince Edward Island National Park. So Prince Edward Island National Park was formed in 1937, and now it's representative of the Maritime Plains Natural Region in the Parks Canada system. So here in Prince Edward Island National Park, we're actually separated into three different sections that are separate from each other. Now furthest east, we actually have Greenwich. Now Greenwich is known for its expansive dune system, its beautiful parabolic dunes, which are very unique to the region, and their associated counter ridges that we call Gig and Wally. Now Greenwich is probably most famous for its floating boardwalk and its wonderful trail system. Now the floating boardwalk on the Greenwich Dunes Trail is actually not too different than the one that you see behind me here. Now, as we move a bit further west into the national park, we arrive in the Dalveigh and Brackley section of the national park. Many people know Brackley Beach very, very well. We've got beautiful beach systems right along the shoreline, and we've got a wonderful trail system too at the Bubbling Springs trails. And we also have our mountain biking trail, the Robinson's Island Trail System. So if you're a beginner at mountain biking and you want to try a few of the trails, that's a wonderful place to go. Now, as we're coming towards this way in the national park, we're actually near the North Rustico and Cavendish area. So North Rustico and Cavendish area is well known for the beautiful red sandstone cliffs that are really iconic of Prince Edward Island. Now, the national park in its entirety really comprises of beautiful sandy beaches on the north shore, our red sandstones, but we also have some freshwater ponds and some wetlands. So we're seeing a wonderful pond behind us here. Now, Prince Edward Island National Park has approximately 46 kilometers of coastline. So it's a wonderful beach destination, and we're excited to welcome you here. Now, when you visit, we've got wonderful visitor infrastructure, but we do get about 475,000 visitors per year, and a lot of those visitors are squeezed within our main summer months. So as you can imagine, there is a lot of stress that can be put on our natural resources in these areas. So our resource conservation team works really, really hard at monitoring our ecosystems and making sure that we can accept this many visitors within such a short period of time, but still maintain our beautiful natural and cultural resources for future generations to enjoy. Now, amongst the national park, we also, Parks Canada on Prince Edward Island, we also have a few historic sites that we take care of. Now, I want to specifically talk about two. First of all, we have Skmaqn, Port-la-Joye, Fort Amherst National Historic Site. Now, that historic site is located approximately 30 minutes from Charlottetown in a community called Rocky Point. Now, it's a beautiful location that overlooks the entrance to Charlottetown Harbor, but this site is actually known as the first settlement of European settlement in Prince Edward Island. Now, you'll notice with the three different names of the National Historic Site, Skmaqn, Port-la-Joye, and Fort Amherst, that there's quite a few historical narratives at this site. Now it is, so Skmaqn actually is the Mi'kmaq word for the waiting place, which represents the meetings between the Mi'kmaq and the French that would occur at that location. Now, I highly recommend going there. They've got about 6 kilometers of a trail system there and some beautiful views, and you'll feel really connected to the historical
the history of Prince Edward Island at that location. And finally, we also have Province House National Historic Site. Now, at Province House National Historic Site, it's located right in the heart of Charlottetown. We are currently undergoing a big renovation at that site. So the site itself is currently closed, but will open in 2022. However, in the meantime, we have partnered closely with the Confederation Center of the Arts to create a replica of the Confederation Chamber within the Confederation Center of the Arts that you can go visit. Now, Province House National Historic Site was the location of the 1864 Charlottetown Conference that led to the formation of what we now know today as Canada. Now, I'm actually going to take you right down to Cavendish Beach, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some really cool features at that location. So welcome to Cavendish Main Beach, one of Prince Edward Island National Park's premier destinations. So as you can see behind me, Cavendish Beach is known for its beautiful sandy beaches, its expansive dunes, and it's also a wonderful location to jump in the water. We've got some wonderful warm waters here, and the waters are quite shallow actually, so you can walk out quite a significant distance out into the water without getting too deep. Now, a few features I want to point out at Cavendish Main Beach are, first of all, our dune system. So as you can see behind me, we've got some expansive dunes, and the grassy part that's covering these dune systems, they're called marram grass. Now, marram grass is really important to our dune systems. The root systems of this grass, we describe them as a living net, and this living net really connects the dunes and keeps them stable. So one of our big regulations in the national park is that we don't go walking into the dunes. And the reason for that is trampling on this marram grass can kind of break this living net. And when this living net is broken, and we get these big northerly winds that we get on the North Shore here, you'll get what's called a dune blowout. Now, right here at Cavendish Main Beach behind me, so right to the left of this big dune, we did have a significant blowout. People would go into the dune system, and this marram grass was trampled. Now, what's really exciting about this location is that our resource conservation team actually took it upon themselves to restore this dune. They put in some natural barriers in that location. They've planted some extra marram grass, and they've closed off the area. So as you can see, there's a few posts there to keep people out of this area. And over the years, with these big northerly winds, they would come in and blow the sand, and the sand would actually get caught by these natural barriers, building up this dune system again. So that's one major feature that we like to point out here at Cavendish Beach. In addition, which connects to that dune system there, we have a new walkway, a new boardwalk accessing the beach. So that, and we've moved it a little bit to the east of this location, just to give those dunes a little bit of a better time at restoring themselves. But when we're talking about the lovely boardwalk here, we actually have an accessible ramp to get down onto the beach. Now, this is fantastic, so we can have anyone with accessibility issues can have an easier time getting down to the beach. And we actually have beach wheelchairs that they have the really thick wheels that are really easy for maneuvering on the beach, and some that you can actually submerge in water as well. So we have that option, and we've got some mobility mats on the beach here just to ease access right down to the water. So I highly recommend coming to Cavendish Main Beach, one of our premier destinations in the National Park. Thank you so much for joining in, and we look forward to welcoming you to Prince Edward Island National Park. Now I'm going to throw it off to my colleagues at Green Gables Heritage Site.
Hello, bonjour. My name is Christina Joaquin. We are currently at Green Gables Heritage Place, part of PEI Parks Canada National Historic Site. Our story begins on November 30th, 1874, when Lucy Maud Montgomery was born, a small house in Clifton, which is now known as New London. And when she was a young girl, her mother passed away, and she moved with her maternal grandparents just across the forest here. And she lived with them. And she worked in the small post office that they had off in their kitchen. And from a young age, she loved to write and learn and teach and use her imagination to write poetry and different journal entries. And in 1905, she wrote the first transcripts for her first novel, Anne of Green Gables. She was very happy with what she wrote and sent it off to 5 different publishing companies, who all unfortunately rejected it at first. And she was a little disappointed with that, so she hid it in her closet, forgot about it for a few years, and kept on working in the post office. In 1908, she was doing a little bit of spring cleaning in her house and found the transcript hiding in her closet. She gave it another read and was so in love with the story that she wrote and so proud of her work that she tried to send it off one more time to another company in Boston called the LC Pages. They read the transcript and loved the story, and they published it that year. And ever since, Anne of Green Gables has been popular worldwide, translated in up to 36 different languages to date, and she has wrote many other novels that were popular all over the world. Green Gables house and the whole farmland is the original inspiration for the book Anne of Green Gables. The house originally belonged to her maternal grandfather's cousins, David Sr. McNeil, and it was built in different sections, not all at once as we see it right now. The first part was built in the 1830s and included the kitchen, the dairy porch, the parlor, and a little bit of a loft above. Then in 1870, his children, David Jr. and Margaret McNeil, added the parlor, the dining room, and the bedrooms above. Then in 1920, their cousins added the finishing touches upstairs, the rest of the bedrooms. And in 1937, the house was acquired by Parks Canada. Ever since, we take care of the house and the land, this whole area around. We decorate it and furnish it to look just like the house in Anne of Green Gables, so that when you arrive on site, you immerse yourself into the novel. Other than the house and the barn, we also have a new visitor center that opened just last year. It includes different exhibits about Lucy Maud Montgomery, her life, her creative writing process, and the different inspirations that the book has given to other authors around the world. There is a Lego house that is a recreation of the house. There is a whole visual biography of Lucy Maud Montgomery, and you'll also find the typewriter that she used to write her book, and a mural of the different book covers, and all the different themes that inspired Maud to write her book. We also have 2 beautiful walking trails on site. Lover's Lane that connects to Balsam Hollow, beautiful trail that has different interpretive panels all around, and wonderful nature viewing spots, as well as the Haunted Wood Trail that connects to the Heritage Park and Lucy Maud Montgomery Cavendish home, the home where Lucy Maud Montgomery grew up with her grandparents and where she wrote her novel, Anne of Green Gables. We look forward to welcoming you all to Green Gables Heritage Place and the Prince Edward Island National Park.
Prince Edward Island has so much to offer, from our scenic, beautiful drives to our beaches,
Our lighthouses, cultural experiences,
outdoor adventures, and parks.
and we have 3 points of entry into Prince Edward Island, including the Northumberland Ferry, the Confederation Bridge.
Don't forget the airport.
No, I couldn't forget the airport. It's the only one. We're not in 1864 anymore.
So welcome to Prince Edward Island, Canada's food island.
Dear Mainlanders, you'll find our food also has a way of feeding the soul. Come find your island, Prince Edward Island.
Okay, that was awesome. That's great. Thank you, Grant, for putting that together. Grant, if you want to turn your camera on as well, we're going to check to see if we have any questions. I have a couple more things I want to go through. Yes, the quality of the video, in some cases it was tough to hear, but we are going to send that video. It was super local and authentic, and I love that. I love when you could hear the birds chirping and things like that. So it was very, very special and really well done. So thank you for that. I'm just going to jump to the next slide and show you a couple more things. You don't have to write this down or take a picture. We're going to send this recipe out to you, but this is what I'm going to make this weekend. So I'm going to need to do a little extra run in the morning because I see that it has a whole lot of whipping cream. It looks absolutely delicious. So this recipe will be sent out to all of you for participating. And I'm going to put the questions up so you can take a look at these. I'm just going to move my screen over here. If you want to take a picture, because it might be easier for you, but I will leave them up while we answer some questions. You take a look at those. The email at the bottom is dguarderas@andersonvacations.ca. You can send the answers through to me. We're also going to email these out to you as well. But let me just go to the questions here. I think we had a couple people with internet issues, but that seems to be resolved, so that's okay. And let me go to the chat. Grant, was there anything you wanted to add in addition to the video?
Just to say, yeah, we should have maybe concentrated a little bit more on showing other aspects of Prince Edward Island and the variety of activities and that type of thing. Plus, just the landscape and seascape of the province itself, I think is very appealing to everybody. The reason most people come to PEI is because it's relaxing and it's easy to get around, and again, because of the landscape and seascape.
Absolutely. I didn't know that the #1 industry was agriculture, and then right behind is tourism, and then seafood's #3. So it's appropriate that we have this picture up on the screen for sure. But I know that there's a large food scene as far as land and sea food all over Prince Edward Island. So I know that that's a big draw as well. Is it not, Grant?
That's correct. Plus also, during the month of September, it was changed again, or it was changed a little bit this year because of what's going on. But we have fall flavors. So that runs normally from September the 1st until about the first 5 or 6 days in October. So we bring in chefs from the Food Network from across Canada. We have our own local chefs. We also have the Culinary Institute of Canada located here in Charlottetown. And they put on special events all across the province. All, or not all, but very many of the restaurants, they put together special menus. So that runs throughout the entire month of September. And plus we also have the International Shellfish Festival, which happens again in Charlottetown the 3rd weekend in September.
And will that be taking place this year, or are they postponing it now till next year?
They're postponing that, yes.
Okay, so we can dream about that for next year, which is really, really exciting.
Yes.
And I was talking to Grant before the happy hour started, and he told me that not long ago he was paying $5 a pound for lobster, people. So that's really exciting. And I think the next season is starting in a week, August 15th. Is that correct?
Yes, I think, yeah, August 15th until the latter part of September, and depending on the season, they may extend it a couple of days, is usually the way it works. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I didn't realize how much history there was in Prince Edward Island. So doing all this research and learning, and I'm ashamed to say I had never read Anne of Green Gables, but when we decided to do the Prince Edward Island happy hour, I started to read it, and I'm about halfway through, and it's a fabulous, fabulous book. Most people I talk to have said they've either seen the movie or they read the book. So I'm looking forward to that. But hearing a little bit of history and the story of that was really interesting as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Grant for taking the time and putting together the videos for us. We really appreciate the fact that you sent those people out to the sites to record that and put it together for us. We really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone for joining in today for our happy hour. We'll be making an announcement for our next one, which will take place in 2 weeks. Please do remember that things are getting better and Canada is available for you to sell. So if we missed any questions, I don't see any in the box right now, but if I miss any, I will definitely send the answers out afterwards. And again, the questions will come out. We did have a winner from 2 weeks ago for the Quebec presentation. It was Stephanie Supino from AMA won the draw out of all the correct answers. So that was really exciting. And we will continue to have some really exciting contests that go along. Thanks, Grant, for throwing in the lobster dinner. That's very exciting.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Thank you to all of you. I'll stick on for a little bit and answer any questions, but if you want to sign off, thanks again for joining us. Thanks for your support. Have a wonderful weekend. It's just a day away from Friday, so that's really exciting. And reach out to Anderson Vacations should you have any inquiries at all about Prince Edward Island or any of our spectacular country. We're more than happy to help. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grant. Bye for now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me 1 second, Grant.
Somebody just asked about the PEI website.
Oh, okay.
If you go to tourismpei.com.
Okay, and we'll send that out actually as well, Grant. We'll send it out in the follow-up. Oh, we have a raised hand also. Is that another one or is that the same one? Let me just see. Raised hand. Oh, here's a couple more questions. Hold on a second. No, I think. Oh, hang on. We will definitely send the recording out. Beth had some great comments. She lived in PEI, so she enjoyed that. Great presentation from Kathy. Video fabulous from Anne. And it was Sue asking about the PEI website information. We'll send that out. So if there's anyone still on, we will send all that out to you. And everyone's just sort of slowly signing off now. So that's great. I will end the presentation. And Grant, I'll send you a follow-up email if that's okay.
Sure, and just send me the winner's name.
I definitely will. Thanks to everyone again. Okay, have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.